Okay, y'all, I remember when I first joined Plexus and I was asked what my why was. And I remember this phrase, your why should make you cry, which if you're someone that does not like outbursts of emotions, you're like, I hate that. That's ridiculous. I don't want that. And I get it, because when we're working a business, are we supposed to be driven just by emotion? Well, for me, yeah, but maybe for you, no. But the point is, I had never had someone ask me my why. And I thought my why was I wanted to be able to have money in the bank so it didn't bounce checks. I wanted to go to the grocery store and buy food for my kids and without thinking about it or worrying about it. So I realized over time, those aren't whys. Those are whats. And we all have a lot of whats. And having a what is not a bad thing. We all have something we want to do. For example, I had this dream that I wanted to take my kids to Disney World. That's a what. But when I really think about it, I really let myself go there. Why in the world would I want my kids to be able to go to Disney? For me, it represented that I was able to give my kids a memory, a beautiful experience. And it wasn't because someone paid for it or my parents invited us, it was because I provided it. And it was just one of those feelings of, well, maybe adulthood. Whatever that feeling was, that was my why. And each one of you have probably had a why and it's evolved, and it should evolve. Your why should not stay the same. And when you look at your why, I don't know if you've ever read Simon Sinek's Start With Why, but he says to use this framework: to blank in order to blank, which is very general. But for example, for me, I feel like my overarching why is to help women in particular, but people, to help people find what was already inside of them in order to help them go and help other people find what was already inside of them. I want to empower people and create a domino effect of empowerment. I don't know what your dream is, but hopefully through this event tonight, and you listen to people sharing their whys, I want you to use this. Be selfish, be very selfish. I want you to listen and go, how is this about me and my why? Because what I want for you is when someone says something that's hard to hear, or someone doesn't treat you with integrity, or someone makes you feel like you're less than, or someone makes you think that you're making a mistake by trying to be a crazy entrepreneur, that won't stop you in your tracks, because your why is great enough. If you say there's someone out there waiting for me, my why is so important. If you have that in you, then you become unstoppable, because I can promise you, you're going to run into the hard times. So I've got a couple of friends that are going to share their why tonight. And I think I'm going to start with Carla. Carla was just on the leaderboard. She is really making a huge difference in her business for herself and her family. But we want to ask her, will you share your why with us? What's the reason? Why? So Carla, I'm going to mute and let you take over.
Hi. I don't know how to do I just talk? Can you see me?
I see you, I hear you, and you look beautiful. Hello.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So my why has changed over the years to some extent, but right now it is, okay, let's just back up. We have struggled financially our entire marriage. I mean, paycheck to paycheck. And my husband is the hardest working man I know. I don't know if you saw my post yesterday when he was leaving. I took a picture of our truck as he was leaving. But when he leaves, there's times that he doesn't want to go. I mean, he should have left Saturday night and he didn't leave till yesterday morning. And he even goes when, you know, he doesn't feel good, or, I mean, he just pushes, pushes that rig up and down the road no matter what. And he has allowed me to stay home and work my business and take care of the grandkids and all that sort of stuff. And I am so grateful that he allows me to do that. But so my why is to be able to, he says, well, I won't retire. I'll always work. But so if he doesn't have to, if I'm bringing in enough money that the Pete's paid off, and if he doesn't want to go, then he doesn't have to go. He can do what he wants to do. To be able to pay off Megan Milankovic's story is like so inspiring. I want to be able to be financially free and to have time freedom for him, financial freedom for us. And then also, I mean, there's things that I'd like to do to this house. Would we build a new house? I don't know, but there's things that I'd like to do to expand and make more room. So when all the kids are home, we can all sit around the table. Right now, it's like part of us are in the living room, part of us are in the kitchen. There's just not room for everybody to have a family dinner together. And then also to inspire other people. I mean, when I get messages from people that I've helped sign up and they say that I've helped them so much and that, that I'm a joy to, like, for instance, I have a friend that I helped last month and she's like, you've been talking to me for 3 years and I've put you off and I've put you off and I've put you off. And, I am so excited to start this. And it just gives you that warm feeling because you're actually helping someone. And it's like, aw. So that to be able to inspire people and give them hope that they can feel their best and even hope financially that, they can do what I'm doing. And then also, I've always wanted to help in the mission field. I'd like to go and help out in other countries, and we've never been financially able to do that because I've always had to work. So there again, the time freedom. And not necessarily that I'd always go, but even to be able to financially help. So that's my why.
Carla, I heard you say a couple of things and I'm thinking about that framework of to blank in order to blank. And everything that I heard you say, I thought to myself, I don't think Carla's ever been able to have freedom. Like you have a great marriage and you have wonderful children. But what I'm hearing you say is we can't just do what we want to do. It's on someone else's timeline. Nothing's ever because you just decided that. It's always, we have to. And so I started thinking about to experience freedom in order to give other people freedom too. And I just see that word for you, freedom, just for you to be able to, if he doesn't want to go, he doesn't have to go. And if you want to go on a trip, you can go on a trip. And if you want to help your grandkids or someone go on the mission field, you can. And I see you being loosed, like that freedom is such a huge why. Does anyone here feel like they can live in complete freedom? Can they go and do whatever they want, whenever they want, only on your own agenda? That's very rare. And so you're audacious enough to dream that big. I mean, that's kind of a crazy, wild dream, but that's what Plexus allows people to do, is to dream that big, because most of us are never going to have that opportunity because we're going to be too afraid to pursue it. But you're not afraid to pursue it because that dream, that why, is big enough for you. And I'm just thrilled to pieces. When I saw your face on the leaderboard, I was like, ah! Messaged you immediately because I was just like, that to me is the beginning stages of your freedom. And I believe that for you completely. So does your why have to make you cry? No. In fact, I hope that it empowers you to have a career mindset to say, regardless of what I encounter, regardless of resistance, regardless of hard times, it is worth it. Any crisis, it's not manageable unless you have a mission. If your purpose is large enough, you overcome it. For me, it's parenting. Sometimes it is. Anybody have teenagers? Not fun. Teenagers are, I'm getting back what I sowed, basically, is what I'm saying to you, because I was a terrible teenager. But my parenting mission overcomes the teenager, because I say to myself, I know that at the end of this, what I'm trying to do is make beautiful adults that become beautiful husbands and wives. I can do this. Like, I can make it through this, right? Okay. Thank you, Carla. I'm going to have Leanne share her why next.
Hi, everybody. I am honored to come on and share my why with you tonight. And I've started like most people. I started with the products because of needing and wanting my health to improve. And that's another story for another day. But Angela actually asked me for 6 months to do a post and share. And I was adamant that I was not going to build a business, that I did not want to do the financial side of this. And she and I went back and forth and round about it. And I finally started seeing so many positive things happening in my health that I said, okay, fine, I'll do a post, but I'm not building the business. And so it just kind of led from there of me starting to share my personal story with what the products were doing for me personally. And then I started seeing the commission checks come in. And so my husband and I started saying, there may be more to this than what we originally thought. And then Alita Langford did a wonderful little live about knowing where you're going before you get there, and what is your plan with what you have come in before it happens, and having that ironed out. So it started my husband and me talking and sharing with each other our dreams of what if this could do this for us. And so some of the things that we saw were, we have a heart for ministry, and he's been a worship leader, but he's had to work a 9-to-5 job, sometimes 60 to 80 hours a week. And he doesn't have the freedom to do the things that he wants to do in the ministry. And our ministry is a little bit non-traditional. We have a heart for missions, and he works for the American Indian, like the rights for American Indians in the state of Tennessee. And so he has a dream to build some nonprofits to help with that. Well, you can't do that and make a living to live on. And so we just started dreaming about what would it mean if we could open the door for the American Indians? And what would it mean for us if he could leave his job and come home? And what would it mean if we could start getting out from under the pressure of debt? And what would it mean if we could start building a financial heritage for our children and leave a legacy for them of showing them a way that they could have a living that's non-traditional, that they don't have to be tied to a 9-to-5 job, that they don't have to go to work and make money for somebody else, that they can do something that they are passionate about and that they love and support their family. In the meantime that we started dreaming, we had the opportunity to buy my grandparents' house, the house that they built, that I grew up running around, and that we lost out of our family when my grandfather passed away. And so we had this other house that's where my girls grew up. And we were back and forth about what are we going to do? We can't really carry 2 mortgages. We can't really carry 2 homes. We don't have the finances. So we were getting ready to put it on the market when things started moving in my business. And so I started seeing part of our why come to fruition with what I bring in commission covers the cost of the second house. My girls did not want us to sell that because that's where they grew up. And so now we have part of a legacy to leave for our girls with a second home, and we're getting it prepared to use as an Airbnb. But also what we have found is missions, when they come home and are in between placements, often have to live with family because they don't have the means and the finances, and it's hard to find a rental place for just like 2 or 3 months. And so what we want to do is part of our heart for missions is allow a place for missions to land when they're off of the mission field and waiting for their next placement, that they can rent for a very short time frame without having to be locked in a 6-year lease. And so we're starting to see those whys and our whys start taking place and start unfolding before us. And so now we're starting to dream a little bit bigger of what can we do beyond that? What's the next step? And so like Jen was talking about, your whys evolve and start as you move forward, they kind of grow with you. At first, it was we just want to get out from under the debt that we have. Now it's expanding to beyond, even our own family, of how can we impact others with what this opportunity is doing for our family. And so, I think that's our biggest thing right now is how can we take this opportunity and impact the lives of others around us with it. And so that in a nutshell is my why.
Okay, so you were talking and I kept hearing freedom, freedom, freedom. And so I looked this up, Leanne, and you probably have read the definition of freedom, but just listen to this. Freedom is the power or the right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. And so when someone, like I said, Carla, is audacious enough to dream. I met a lady who's making a movie and she asked my teenager if he wanted to be in it. And I asked her about the movie and she said to me with zero reservation, she goes, "Oh, and I'm going to submit it to Sundance and we're going to win 12 Oscars." And I thought, man, okay. And part of me thinks, you're crazy, lady. But the other part thinks, I'm crazy, lady, for not believing that dreaming big has a result. Because when we believe the big, it's not that we manifest it because it just happens. It's because if we are brave enough to allow ourselves to believe for the big thing, we are brave enough to do the scary steps to get us there. Because if it's not scary, if it's just easy, usually you get a small result. It's the scary thing. I had a girl, as soon as I started Plexus, she made a post and she just blasted it. I mean, and she had a lot of influence. And what I wanted to do is just say, you win, you win. It's not worth it to me to push this hard. But that voice in the back of my mind said, Jen, you were given this and you're going to see it through to the end. But I don't want to. It's embarrassing. I don't want to. It's scary. That was what made me realize the scary would give me freedom in the end. So I hope that encourages you guys. And also know this, when we look at somebody's why and we look at what it means for them to overcome the scary, it's not an external thing. Yes, paying your mortgage, helping get your groceries, being able to go on trips, being able to say no to having to take an extra shift. Yes, great things. But your why is not those external things. It's what those things mean to you internally. It's not anything anyone can take from you. And so when someone new joins you, I hope that you're brave enough to ask them their why. And I would say something like this: what would it mean for you and your family to have an extra $500 a month? And you get them thinking. And most of us don't want to think like that because why? We're afraid to be disappointed. The only disappointment in Plexus is when you quit. Quitting is the disappointment. And I've seen many people that who knew right around the corner was another big wave of momentum. And I've watched it happen. People that have been with the company 3 or 4 years making good money, but their why had not been it hadn't been achieved yet. Like that big, huge, scary why. And right around the corner, something big happened. And had they quit, they would have never experienced that. Okay. I want you to hear from my friend, Carissa. Carissa's going to share with you her why. I'm going to mute and you take over, sweetie.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me. So that's funny that you say you quit because that is exactly how my journey started. So about 2.5 years ago, I was really suffering with postpartum depression. I was a stay-at-home mom of 2. My youngest was about 1 year old. And when she was born, it kind of set in that we really couldn't afford for us to both work. And I had always provided, we were, equal. And so it was hard for me to realize that it just wasn't financially possible for me to go back to work. So here I am staying at home. And my definition is just, I'm a homemaker. I'm a mom. I clean the house. I do the things. And so, which put a lot of stress on my husband financially. He's the sole proprietor of our family. And so this is where, let me see. Okay. So, Angela saw me struggling. And so, I was like, well, I'll give it a try because I had watched her journey just transform. She had lupus and she was able to get out of a wheelchair. I was there from the lowest point of her life, I feel like, and to see her just thriving and up and moving, and it was just so inspiring. So I was like, well, if she can do it, so can I. And what I wasn't prepared for was the mentality of it. I wasn't really giving myself the credit that I needed. Like, I'm worth this. I am so worth what these products can do for me, what Plexus could do for me. And at the time I wasn't ready, and she saw what I couldn't. And so I quit my products. So here I am, fast forward about a month ago from now, or okay, go back a month from right now. And I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. About 4 months ago, I was at the lowest point of my life. My day revolved around a nap. I'd never got dressed except for if it was time for church. And then I'd come home and go right back into my lounge clothes. My kids didn't have a mom. I wasn't present. My husband was ready to walk away. And so for me, I was like, something's got to give. Something's got to give. And so here I am, and the Holy Spirit just kept speaking over me. And it's like Angela Beller, just something about it. Just she was living so, she was just thriving. She lived this great life, and I love her so much. And we've always been friends. But I was just like, what she's doing, I can have that. I can have that. I just have to put me first. I have to know that I'm worth it. And so I reached out to her and I was like, listen, I'm ready. I'm ready to draw my line in the sand and put myself first. And not only that, I'm ready to provide for my family. Because at this point, I was 4 years in, about 4 years in, and of being a mom and not providing. So it was my turn. And so what Plexus has given me for my why is my husband gets to sleep better at night. I provide for my family. Not only that, I got a chance. I got a chance for me to know that I'm worth it. And not only did I got these amazing products that got me off my anxiety medication, that got me off my depression, that got me out of bed. I don't take a nap anymore. My kids get their mom back. My husband gets his wife back. So not only did the products do that for me, but the business, I got the business. And not only was it that, the community of Plexus is something I never, ever imagined that I could have. And my favorite quote to this day from the very beginning is from Les Brown. And it says, if you fall on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. And I have to say, this past month has just showed me that if I can get up, so can you. So can you, because you're worth it. You are so worth it. And I was so sick and tired of just sitting back and watching everybody live their life around me. And I'll tell you right now, in 15 days, Plexus gave my family an extra $1,000. And I can't even begin to tell you what that gave our family as a blessing. And not only that, I get to sit back now and show others that they're worth it. And I get to help change their lives. And all these moms out here that are lost and they think that, all that they are is they stay at home and that's all that there is. And there's not, there's so much more. And I think that this is probably a little bit too short of what I was supposed to talk about, but that's really all I have. I mean, my heart is just so full. My cup overflows from all the people I have around me.
Well, I'm going to say something and you might want to just think on it, but there's sometimes a person that when they speak, it's like they can, I'm going to say electrocute you. They can electrocute you with their words. I don't know if this ever happened to anybody, but you were electrocuting me when you were talking. I was electrocuted. And I see you changing many, many women's lives. I can see that in you. And so if you can bring that freedom to dream and freedom from debt and freedom from feeling worthless and unworthy and unvaluable, if you could bring that to someone, if it came with a paycheck, great. But if not, even still, that is such a beautiful gift to give to someone. So that really, you done electrocuted me. I felt it. Thank you. That was really good. And so we're going to hear from Angela Beller. And I want you guys to know something. This is something you work on, okay? If you want to empower people to dream scary big dreams, you better be willing to ask them their why and hold them to that why. And I'm like I said, it's not the external, it's the internal. Remember when you told me that you want women to see that they're not just staying at home. That's not just what they do, that their vision and their purpose can be so big and can make such a big difference. You have to be willing to say that to someone and you're thinking, well, I'm not a poet. Like that sounds so inspirational. Like I'm not a motivational speaker. Yes, you are. To the people that cross your path, that is what you are. It doesn't have to sound perfect. You can just say, I believe you can do big things and I don't know how, but I know you will. And I'm going to be right there. I'm not going anywhere. I will be right there. I will be behind you, beside you, and in front of you. I will clap for you, cheer for you, and I will cry with you. Because this is not easy. Every single comma that gets in my paycheck, I say, I earned that. Because sometimes it's hard. But man, I choose this hard any day over any other hard. So I'm excited for you guys to hear from Angela. Angela, I'm going to mute myself.
Hey sis, well, how proud am I tonight? I just can't even, honestly. So I'm wrecked. I'm totally wrecked, right? So Carla, I met in the very beginning of my Plexus journey, and she followed me every step of the way. I think my very first post all the way through. And then I finally said, hey girl, you have something to offer. You want to do this? You want to do this? You want to do it good? And she was like, yeah, let's do it. And she has. And then Leanne, I wasn't going to tell her about Plexus at all because I knew that girl was like watching me, and she was like, tell me about Plexus. Just dare me, girl. Dare me. And so I didn't say a word to her. And then when her thyroid was totally out of commission, I was like, hey girl, like, I know you don't want me to say anything, but like, you need this. And she was like, okay, fine. And she fell in love. And then Carissa, I just can't, because the first time I met her, it was October of 2019, and we were trick-or-treating, and my husband was pushing me in a wheelchair. And so she's one of the few that saw me, which not many people did, because if you're in a wheelchair, you're not getting people to take your picture. And, you know, I think I have like 2 pictures in the wheelchair. But here's the thing. I'm at the beach and I'm living my best life. My daughter is with me, who is an Emerald on my team. Our whole family is here, and it's possible. And I remember asking Cheryl before I went Emerald, I was like, sister, is this for real? Can I do this right now? And she said, yeah, you can. And I want to tell you, you can. I'm just a girl that was a nurse and wanted to help people and bless people and heal people and help people. And I'll never forget the first time I shared my story with Jen Lee. And she said to me, you brought belief back into my heart. I was struggling to believe that these products could change people's life, and you literally brought belief back into my heart. And that's what every one of these women have done for me. And I'll never forget that. And it's possible. It's so possible. I mean, I'm sitting here, my daughter and I bought, I mean, like, we rented the best condo. We're like on the beach in Destin, living our best life, having hamburgers, like grandbabies everywhere. It's possible. And I didn't think that. I didn't. I counted myself out over and over and over. And you don't have to count yourself out. There are no requirements other than to love people and to help people and to want what's best for others. That's it. And so if I were to, to say what Jennifer said in the beginning, my why, I see. I'm just going to say it. Like, it sounds crazy to me, okay? But I'm going to have individual apartments for women that are abused so that they don't have to go into homes and take their children into homes that are multiple, people and exposed to different things and exposed to different environments, that they can just go and be alone. I want to have the first 2 weeks of their meals covered so that they can get themselves together, that they can figure things out. I mean, like, I have it written out, y'all. Because I was in that situation and I'm not anymore. And God has blessed me and blessed me with a wonderful husband and then blessed me with my health back. And I never, ever, ever thought I would have what I have now. And I am so grateful. Jennifer, thank you for inviting me, for inviting my team, for letting us speak tonight. I'm so proud. And okay, you said freedom. Okay, so our team name is Freedom Runners. And that's who we are. And there's a reason that I named it that. Because freedom is what we're about. Doesn't matter what freedom you want, right? Financial freedom, physical freedom, whatever it is, it's what you have, because this community and this opportunity is incredible. So love you, Jen.
Love you too. And I can't even believe I forgot you're the Freedom Runners. But it's just the truth. If you guys have any big dreams in your heart, it probably is linked to a freedom that you don't currently have, freedom to adventure, freedom to change people's lives. We can change people's lives just through love. And I know that, but man, it sure does help when there's some money involved. Because when you can do the big, hard things for them, money is not bad, right? And when a lot of people struggle with that, they feel like having money, it makes them feel uncomfortable. But what should scare you is the wrong people having money. That's what should scare you. What we should all want is the right people to have the money, because then we can do the big, scary thing. We can change lives. We can make a difference. We can partner with people through their hard and their long suffering. So yes, do we love these products? 1,000,000%. Do we love Plexus and trust the company? 1,000,000%. But you best believe it does not stop there. I'm talking, we're taking this all the way to the ends of the earth, because we have a way bigger vision. And the vision is we're going to be difference makers. That's what we're going to do. And so if somebody can say to me, I met this girl, she's with this crazy company called Plexus, and she walked with me through the hardest time of my life, and she was there and she showed up, we're doing it. That's what we're doing. So I want you guys to discover your why, because we need difference makers to partner with us. And we need you to be strong. And we need you to have tenacity. We need you to say, it's worth it to me to overcome the scoffer. It's worth it to me to overcome the judger, because I know ultimately someone is waiting for me. And so if you can, I want you to write it out straight to blank in order to blank. And I want you to think about it. It could be anything. To get stronger physically in order to teach other women how to treat their bodies with love and respect. To learn how to be patient with people in order to become a legacy changer for my family, because maybe you weren't taught patience. And I promise you, it's not the if, it's the when. You will achieve the dreams in your heart with this when you see it through to the end. So discover that why, help the people that have said yes to you discover their why, and then come back to this Zoom and watch it. And remember what Krista said, and remember what Carla said, and Leanne and Angela, and your story. We'd love to hear your why. So when I post this link, you guys definitely share in the comments, because I'd love to hear why. What is it? What is that thing that's that heart dream inside of you? I'd love to hear it. This is a good night. The cup is full. I'm gonna go take a bubble bath. That's the way I feel right now. Thank you, Angela. Thanks to all of you guys. It was good to see everyone's faces. Good night.